for his episode 16, Tales of the Lost World. The private jet glided through the night, a sleek shadow cutting across the starry void toward Nova Reach. Inside, the cabin was a cocoon of soft leather and flickering holoscreens, its quiet luxury a stark contrast to the storm brewing in Kane Voss's mind. He slouched in his seat, hands restless, the weight of Gideon Varn's revelations, 26,000 years, Atlantean blood, still sinking like stones in his gut. Across from him, Sadie Hall sat cross-legged, her chestnut hair loose, catching the cabin's dim glow. Her dark eyes flicked between a hollow pad on her lap and Kane's tense frame, reading his unease like a book. Dr. Aldous Wellington dozed in a nearby seat, snoring softly. A rare moment of peace for the old scholar. Zara, Rain, and Gideon's crew kept their distance up front. Kane shifted, his voice rough but low, not wanting to wake Aldous. "Sadie, my head's spinning. Gideon's talking about me being some ancient key in Aldous' stories, cities, cataclysms, sky kings. It's too much. That core, it's tied to something big, yeah? You've been digging into this stuff forever. Break it down for me. Like, I'm a kid who's never cracked a book. What's this lost world you and Aldous keep circling? And how's it hooked to that thing I stole?" Sadie's lips curved, a spark of her old fire lighting her face. She set the holopad down, leaning forward, elbows on her knees, her Freeland drawl warm and deliberate, like she was spinning a campfire tale. "All right, Kane, let's take a ride. Picture me as your guide through a world that's gone, poof, vanished, but left fingerprints all over the dirt. You're holding a piece of it, that core, and it's not just shiny loot. It's a key to a story so wild it makes our ASIs look like kids playing with blocks. I'm gonna tell you about some real artifacts, old as sin, that whisper the same secrets as that relic in your pack. Ready? Buckle up, scavenger, this is gonna be fun." Kane raised an eyebrow, a half smile tugging at his lips despite himself. "Fun, huh? Better be good, Doc." She grinned, undeterred, and launched in, her voice weaving a thread that pulled him out of the jet's sterile hypnotic drone into a past alive with wonder. First stop, the Antikythera Mechanism. Sounds like a sci-fi gadget, right? Found off Greece in 1901, in a shipwreck older than most gods people pray to. It's this bronze box, big as a loaf of bread, stuffed with gears, tiny, precise, like a watchmaker's fever dream. Think of it as the world's first computer, but we're talking 100 BCE, Kane. No factories, no circuit boards, just brain and bronze. It tracked stars, planets, eclipses. Hell, it could tell you when the next Olympic Games were. Divers pulled it from the sea, and scientists still argue how it was made. The gears are so fine, we didn't match that precision till the Middle Ages. Kane leaned forward, caught by her rhythm. "A computer? Back then? What's that got to do with the core?" Sadie's eyes gleamed, like she'd hooked him and was reeling him in. "Patience, scavenger. Here's the kicker. It shouldn't exist. No one in Greece had tech like that. Or so we're told. Aldous thinks it's a hand-me-down, a toy from a civilization way older, one that knew the sky like we know our slums. The core you nabbed? It's got that same vibe. Too advanced, too alive. When it lit up under the moon, those runes danced like they were charting something. Maybe stars, maybe energy. The Antikythera could be a baby version of whatever tech your core's packing. A piece of a puzzle that says, hey humanity, you weren't always banging rocks together. It ties to our story because it's proof the past hides giants, and your relic might be their crown jewel." Kane nodded, his mind flipping to the core's runes swirling in his memory. "All right, I'm tracking. What's next?" She swiped her holopad, a projection flickering to life, a ring of massive stones under a starry sky. Göbekli Tepe, in what used to be Turkey. Picture this, 11,000 years ago, when we're supposed to be hunters with pointy sticks, someone builds a temple. Not a hut, Kane. A temple, with T-shaped pillars taller than you, weighing as much as a hover tank. They're carved with lions, snakes, even weirder stuff, like hands reaching out of stone. No villages around, no farms, just this holy ground in the middle of nowhere. And get this, they dragged those stones miles, shaped them perfect, and aligned them with stars like Sirius. Then, when they were done, they buried it. Not a flood, not a quake. Buried it on purpose, like locking a secret in a vault. Kane's brow furrowed, picturing it. Why build something that big just to hide it? Sounds like a lot of sweat for nothing. Sadie laughed, soft but sharp. That's the million Toshi question. Aldous has a theory. It wasn't just a temple. It was a machine, kinda. Not gears, but stone and stars, tapping energy we don't get yet. Vibrations maybe, or something cosmic. The carvings? They're fractal, like the core's runes, patterns that loop into infinity. Sound familiar? Your relic hummed, Kane, like it was talking to the universe. Göbekli Tepe could have been a hub for that, a place where people, priests, engineers, who knows, work tech we've lost. It's tied to our chase, because the core might be the key to waking those hubs, or blowing them sky high. And that burial? Maybe they hid it from something coming. Flood, war, or those sky kings Aldous whispers about. Kane's fingers twitched, the idea of the core as a weapon sinking deeper. So it's like a power plant? For what? Sadie shrugged, her grin sly. That's what we're gonna find out. Next up, the Piri Reis map. 1513. An Ottoman sailor named Piri Reis draws a chart that makes cartographers cry. It shows South America fine, but also Antarctica. Ice-free, Kane, with coasts we didn't map till sonar came along. Ice-free Antarctica? That's 12,000 years back, minimum, when it was warm enough to stroll. Piri says he used older maps, stuff from Alexandria's library, long burned. This thing's got rivers, mountains, stuff no one in 1513 could have seen without flying or diving deep. Kane snorted, leaning back. Flying? Come on, Sadie. You're saying they had drones? She smirked, undaunted. Maybe not drones, but something. Ships, gliders, hell, maybe eyeballs in the sky. The map's too exact, like someone charted the world when it looked different, before floods redrew the lines. Remember the core's hollow map, back in Aldous' yard? It showed an Earth we don't know. Lands where seas are now, cities glowing like fire. That's the Piri Reis vibe, a snapshot of a lost world one the core might unlock. It's our story because it says you're relics from a time when people sailed or flew a globe we can't imagine, and someone wanted that truth saved, even if it meant hiding it in plain sight. Kane's eyes narrowed, the core's projection flashing in his mind. Cities, ley lines, a world alive. All right, I'm starting to see it. Keep going. Sadie's fingers danced on the hollow pad, the image shifting to a sunken plain under a stormy sea. Doggerland, a lost land under the North Sea, drowned 8,000 years ago. Used to link Britain to Europe, a plain bigger than some dominions. Divers found stone circles down there. Kane. Think mini Stonehenges, aligned with stars like Orion. Plus, tools, bones, even trade goods. Amber from way east, shells from far south. These weren't cavemen. They had boats, maps in their heads, maybe more. Sonar shows settlements, docks, all built to last, till the sea swallowed them. Kane whistled low. Circles underwater? That's some dedication. What's the connection? Her voice dropped, conspiratorial, pulling him in. Those circles weren't just pretty. They were precise like Göbekli, maybe catching energy from the earth or sky. Aldous thinks they were outposts, part of a network like the core's ley lines. Doggerland's people traded, sailed, knew the stars. Sounds like our Atlantean pals, right? The core could have powered something like that, linking hubs across seas. It's our thread because it shows a world connected, advanced, then wiped out. Not by chance, but by a cycle, like Aldous says. Your relic might be what's left of their grid, waiting for someone, you, to flip the switch. Kane rubbed his jaw, the pieces clicking, though the picture was still fuzzy. So it's all tied. Maps, stones, gears. What else you got? Sadie's grin widened, the hollow pad now showing a massive pyramid under a blazing sun. The Great Pyramid, Egypt, 2600 BCE, give or take. Not just a tomb, Kane, it's a beast of math and stone. 2 million blocks, some heavy as tanks, cut so tight you can't slip a blade between them. Aligned to true north like it's got a compass built in and its angles bacon pi and phi. Math we didn't discover for ages. Sits on a spot where Earth's energy is loudest, what we call a geomagnetic node. And get this, some say it's older, way older, based on how the Sphinx nearby is weathered. Kane blinked, trying to wrap his head around it. A pyramids? A tech? Thought it was just a king's ego trip. She laughed, bright and quick. Ego, sure, but it's more. Picture it as a giant antenna, maybe, or a battery, pulling energy from the ground, the stars, who knows? Its precision screams purpose, navigation, power, maybe signaling something out there. The core's schematics showed a machine, right? Conduits, nodes, a sphere like yours fitting in. The pyramid could be a rusty version, built by folks who half remembered what your relic does. It's our story because it's another dot in the grid. Your core might have juiced it up, back when the world sang with light. Kane leaned back, his mind ablaze. All right, one more. Hit me. Sadie's voice softened, but her eyes burned. The hollow pad now a fiery sky with sleek shapes soaring. Last one. Vimanas, from old Indian texts, like the Mahabharata. Maybe 1500 BCE, but older in stories. Flying machines, Kane. Craft that zipped through clouds, powered by mercury, crystals, or just plain will. They had weapons too. Brahmastra, that could torch cities, leave ash like a nuke. Texts describe alloys, engines, stuff that sounds like sci-fi, not myth. Were they real? No wrecks yet, but the details are too weird to be just dreams. Kane's mouth quirked, half skeptical, half captivated. Flying ships. You're messing with me now. She shook her head, dead serious but playful. Nope. Imagine it. A sky full of vimanas, gliding over cities like the core's map showed, linking places like Doggerland, Göbekli, Egypt. The core's energy flow, its human key thing, that's Vimana tech, something needing a pilot, like you. It's our chase, because your relic might be their engine, or their bomb, and Gideon's sniffing it for a reason. Those texts talk of sky teachers, like Aldous' kings, who gave the tech, then vanished when it all went boom. Kane exhaled, long and slow, filling the silence as Sadie's tales sank in. So all this, gears, stones, maps, pyramids, flyers, it's one story? A world that had it all, then lost it? Sadie nodded, her voice quiet now, urgent. Yeah, Kane. A civilization. Call it Atlantis, whatever. That wove stone, stars, and spirit into tech we're only guessing at. The core's their legacy, tied to you, maybe to all of us. It's not just loot, it's a choice. Power it up, and we might find answers. Where they went, what broke them, what's coming. Or we might burn like they did. That's why Gideon wants it, why Zara's circling, why we're on this damn jet. You're holding the key to a cycle. Rise, fall, repeat. Kane met her gaze, the girl he'd loved now a woman pulling him into a truth too big to dodge. His voice was rough, but steady. And you're still in? Knowing it might end us? Her smile was fierce, no trace of fear. Hell yeah. I've spent my life digging for this. You, me, Aldous. We're not just scavengers now. We're the ones who get to decide what happens next. The jet droned on, Nova Reach's glow creeping closer, and Kane felt the core's absence like a pulse, tying him to Sadie's stories, gears that tracked stars, stones that sang. Maps of lost shores, pyramids, ships that soared. A world before his, alive in her words, and a fight he couldn't run from. For the first time, he didn't want to.